One time, two time for the cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Rockin' with the best, cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. I like it now, cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Watching my body, cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and members of the Cha-Cha Nation. Welcome to another episode of Cha-Cha Album Review Series on Cha-Cha Music Review Podcast, which is now being brought to you by Absolute Tap Media, your number one online media and digital marketing agency. My name is Hafeestonova, aka your musical blog, creator of the Energy Force. And today we'll be talking about Show Dem Camp new album titled Clone Wars Vol.5, The Algorithm. Yes, I said we because I will not be doing this alone. I have a member of the Cha-Cha Nation with me. And without wasting much of your time, I will allow him to introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Adewale. I'm a graphic designer. I'm here to co-host with my brother the new album by SDC Show Dem Camp titled The Algorithm.
Thank you for being here today, Adewale. And thank you for, being a part of the Cha-Cha Nation. Yeah, today we'll be talking about the Show Dem Camp new album. And before we, go into everything, let me just quickly give, a quick info about the album. Like I said, the name of the album is, Clone Wars Vol.5, The Algorithm. It was released on the 8th of July and it contains, 15 tracks, including 2 skits. The album featured the likes of Reminisce, Ladipoe, Tomi, Shalom, Dubas, Mojo, Jagz, Ogranya, Mojo, Ojini, and Tomi. And the production credit goes to the likes of TUC, Tony Ores, Tycoon, Spax, Sichangi, Konnect, and Inem Usoro. Now, let me, ask you this straight up. When you first saw that Show Dem Camp released an album, you've not listened to it, or you just saw that Show Dem Camp released an album, what first came to your mind?
Well, to be truthful, I'm a person that after I cook albums, after I know that one of my favorite artists has gotten an album released, I don't listen to it at the go, because most usually, you start hearing mixed reviews. Some people say I like that. So basically, I always like wanting the pressure or the vibe to a little bit die down, then listen to it and give my own review. But when I had that Clone Wars 5 was out, so I was like, no, I have to listen to it. So it just like the anticipation was too much for me. So like, no, these guys are just so wonderful, so superb with the lyrics. We are very good with the beats and everything. I just hooked me on to just try to listen to the album. And since the day I listened to the album, I have been putting it on the replay, because there was a particular album, there's a particular track there that speaks to me. But we'll talk about that when we get to that section. But when I had the album, that SDC released an album, I was already salivating.
Okay, you already started waiting. All right, so now, what was your initial reaction when you first listened to the album? I mean, from the first track, that's track number 1, to track number 15, which is Bright Skies. The first time you listened to those tracks, once, before you played it the second time or the third time, that first time, what was your reaction to it?
First, I listened to one track like 2-3 times. Then I moved to the next track. Then I was like, listen to it 2-3 times. So I didn't listen to it at the stretch, because I have to enjoy one, enjoy the second, enjoy the third one, for me to be able to like, oh my God, which one is my best, which one is my favorite, which one is the weakest. So I didn't listen to them at the stretch, because I had to repeat some tracks for me to be able to understand fully what they're all about. So, but actually, I already knew my mind would be blown, because I don't expect less from them. I have listened to from Subsidy to Recession, from Recession down to this Buhari Times. Then I was like, no, after Buhari Times, it should be a bump, and I actually got a bump.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, when I saw the news that Show Dem Camp was going to release an album, and I saw that it was Clone Wars Vol.5, The Algorithm, I said to myself, okay, these guys are here again. They are about to do what they know how to do best. And when they dropped the album, funny enough, just like you rightly said, the day they dropped the album, I didn't listen to the album that particular day. You were even the one that even caught my attention to like, oh, they've dropped an album, or have you listened? And I told you right that I've not listened. I've just been chilling, because like you rightly said, once an album drops, a lot of people will consume it and will start giving an opinion. I probably wait for like 2 days, to let the tension of the old noise calm down. Then I pick up the album and I listen. And the truth is, from the moment I picked the album, and I had the intro, I told myself, you are about to get your man blown. And I won't lie to you, my mind was blown away on the album. I mean, I don't know how to say this, but I feel like every time, Show Dem Camp drop an album and you expect them to raise the bar, I feel like they go beyond the bar every time they drop a bar. And I don't even think there's a bar for Show Dem Camp to raise, as like,
At all, at all, at all.
the kind of rap music they do all the way
Yeah,
to and one thing I like about Show Dem Camp is the fact that they've been able to, differentiate their sound in terms of
yeah,
when they want to go full rap, that you are listening to,
yeah.
the
Hardcore.
Clone War.
Listen.
When you
Yes.
want to listen to gyrate music, you're listening to palm wine music.
Someone.
You understand?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Exactly. So they've been able to, differentiate. So when I saw this, I saw it was Clone War Vol.5. I felt like, oh, and
Yes.
let me just quickly say this. For those of you that might be listening and you might be feeling, oh, Clone Wars Vol.5, was there a Volume 1 or a Volume 2, Volume 3? Yes, they've been Volume 1, they've been Volume 2, they've been Volume 3, they've been Volume 4. I think the Volume 4, the last one they did was These Barry Times. That was the last
Yes.
one, they did
Yes.
before this one. But
Yeah.
that aside, let's go back to the album and let's talk about the album. Like you rightly said, you were listening to the album one track about 2-3 times before you moved on to the next track, just for you to be able to consume each track very well.
Now, so it be, because basically these people are rappers, and for you to be able to consume rap, you have to listen to it a number of times, because there will be some particular words that a rapper would say, and you like, what does it mean? What does it mean? You have to listen to it over and over again. Oh my god, this is what it meant there. So basically, it was actually an embodiment of what happened in 2020. If you actually listen to the album very well.
All right, no problem. It's an embodiment of, everything that happened in 2020. You've spoken about how listening to the album, you had to listen to the 8 song about 2-3 times, for you to be able to consume and understand, the music. And we all know that when it comes to rap, rap is not something you just rush through and you kind of, say, oh, you listen to the album. Like you rightly said, you listen twice for you to be able to get the message. Now, and that is where my question is going to be for you. Okay. Did you feel like Show Dem Camp passed any message in this album, or it was just about, spitting bars and dropping lyrics and all that?
Well, if you have noticed the albums, especially when the titles of the album, first, this title of this album is synonymous. Some people might not give credence or might not put meaning into the algorithm. Normally, to a computer geek or to a mathematician, without seeing the spelling, algorithm is just a step-by-step process of probably solving an equation or probably just giving giving a solution to a problem. You get? So now when you now see the artwork, you'll be like, oh my god, because the artwork on its own is majorly, as a graphic designer, I was wowed, because seeing these two guys, Tech and Wale, and that's Tech is Wale, the Tech and Ghost sitting on a chair, and around them is TV. So I was like already anticipating that basically this album is more relevant for today, because when something is relevant for today, it's also evergreen, because when you listen to the albums, you know that they put in work. And when they put in work, it's not just a gyrating. As you have said, palm wine is for gyrating. Clone Wars is for rap, and the rap are usually hardcore, not really hardcore. It gives life, and it gives meaning. So when I listen to it, before even listening to it, I already know that yes, there's meaning, that there's something I will pick out of it. And actually, I picked many things. It was just an embodiment of what happened in 2020, from it to Aliko, which that one on its own is just it's funny on its own, because you actually know that that's two different skits on that phone, on that album. That's two different skits, and those two skits are mind blowing and are funny. And even within the song, I don't know if we can talk about the song already, because I'm already anticipating to talk about the song on the album.
Yeah, go ahead. We can start that. We can start talking about the songs.
Because actually, as you have said earlier on, the song is a 15-track album. 15-track album, as an intro, as two skits. So basically, meaning that you are left with 12 good joints. 12 good joints from Align down to Bright Skies. So I actually was blown away. it was a bit confusing on picking the best and picking the worst, because actually they don't have any worst songs.
All right, so like you already said, the album is quite relevant, and you spoke from the perspective of a graphic designer, seeing the artwork, and even from a computer geek, the name algorithm, it's a breakdown step by step. And for me, honestly speaking, I didn't even look into all of that. But the moment I had the first track, which is the intro, and spoke about, Nigeria and what has been happening in Nigeria, okay, I knew that these guys were picking up from where they left off in Buhari times.
Sure.
Like they were just going to continue from there. And one thing about Show Dem Camp, like we rightly said, is how much they raise the bar every time they drop, their album. And in the second track, which is a YKTV,
Yeah,
I think it was one where he said he's been thinking about what to rap about, because every time they drop an album, it's always going to be, it and all that. So for me, basically, like you rightly said, the album, was talking about everything that happened, in 2020, just like a summary of everything that happened in 2020, from coronavirus to the EndSARS protests, to how the economy of Nigeria has been. And it's just, I feel like if somebody should ask me, like, okay, you know what, how can you define hip hop in Nigeria? I feel like the algorithm is just the best answer to point to them and say, okay, you know what, go and listen to this album. Then you understand what hip hop is in Nigeria. And like you rightly said, it is difficult for you to pick out which song is the best song on the album, because let's be realistic. One thing that stood out for me on this album has to be the production of this album. And shout out to everyone that worked on the album. I mean, they killed each production, even down to the skits, like you rightly, mentioned about. The big little skits are just so funny and so hilarious, and also relevant to what happened in 2020.
Sure. That was like lie for them, like like basically, if they say that they say that your yash is there, it's not your yash. Like, you don't even have yash.
I don't like to. I feel like that was the best skit. When they started, we say, if they tell you the sky is blue, you tell them it is green. We lie all the way.
I think that.
Now, like I rightly mentioned, the artists that featured on it, we have Ladipoe, we have Tomi Thomas, and that is where I want to go to. Tomi Thomas featured twice. On the first one she featured, which is Rise of the Underdogs, which is the first track. I won't lie to you, I wasn't expecting, what I had on that track. I didn't expect that at all. I was blown away, like, whoa, this is good. And then the next track she featured on was the one with Jagz, which is Viper, track 11.
Viper,
sure. And then again, but for you, I know, like you said, it's been difficult for you to pick, your best verse. But what will you say is your favorite? At least just mention your top 3 favorites, even though it is difficult, but the top 3 favorites.
Oh my God. So first is Align, second is Focus and Drive. So the last one could be Draw Me Close. Draw Me Close.
For me, my favorite track has to be Street. I mean, I don't know why, but that song just, every time I listen to that song, I just get so emotional. And every artist on that song came through. If I'm going to go after Street, the next song I'll probably go to is Rise of the Underdogs. I love that song too. And on that song, I like, because I didn't really expect what I heard from that song has to be Tycoon, which features Reminisce.
Yeah, Mojo.
For those of you that don't know, Mojo also featured on Olamide's 999 EP. So when I heard him on this track, I felt like, wow. I mean, you have to be a very, very talented artist for you to feature on some certain albums. So for you to go from featuring on Olamide to going to featuring on Show Dem Camp, then it shows how talented you are as an artist. And I won't lie to you, I was really, really happy for Mojo as the father of her, because he came through, on the song also. And of course, Reminisce just had to bragado on the song. I won't lie to you, when I first heard about this album, and I felt like, is there even any need for me to review this album? Because I mean, it's Show Dem Camp. What more can you say about them and about what they do in hip hop? It's like you saying the same thing over and over again. These guys, they've done it over and over again. And every time they drop an album, you cannot expect, and in fact, I feel like whatever expectation you set for them, once you hear the album, they beat your expectation. So that's why most times when they drop an album, I always feel like, is there any need to review this album? Rather than review this album, let me just tell you people, you know what?
It's 10 over 10.
The album, you get, because there is no need, because the album is just so good. Is there any need for us to even rate the album?
The thing is, we don't usually get rap albums like this. So when we get the ones that we get, it's more or less like, this is golden.
I just have to say this. If you are a fan of rap anywhere in the world, I'm not even going to say Nigeria or Africa right now. If you are a fan of rap anywhere in the world, because if there's one thing I've always maintained is that rap and hip hop will always be rap and hip hop. It doesn't matter what country or what language, it's being done. As much as you understand rap, you understand, the flow pattern, the cadence, the pop lines, and the word plays, then it is an album you should definitely listen to. And without any doubt, this album will go down as one of the best rap albums, if not the best rap album of 2021. So, Wale, I feel like we just have to, come to an end. If I allow us to continue doing this, we can talk, and before you know it, the whole day will be spent. I actually didn't just want to do this alone, because if I had done it alone, it would be like, oh, I'm just the one hyping the whole album and all that, and I just needed someone to at least either prove me wrong or, just support me in what I want to say about the album. Because like I already said, left to me, I might not even review the album, because obviously, I know those of you listening to this album, you know that this is not how I technically review my album. But then again, like I said, there's no point in reviewing Show Dem Camp's album, because you already know what you are getting is straight up fire. What made us do this is just because we didn't want it to be like, oh, the album came out and we didn't say anything about it. So now we've spoken about it. If you now decide not to listen to it after all this one we've said, then that is your loss. Trust me, man, because this is definitely one of the best albums you hear in 2021.
Yeah, sure, my brother. Sure.
All right. So, Wale, thank you very much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate, and I hope that we can, get to do this another time.
Surely, anytime, my brother. So, I also would commend you for the good work you have been doing, and recently you celebrated an anniversary, so please send me my own bottle of champagne or anything.
Don't worry, we are going to do that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate, all the love that you've been, sharing, the Chacha Music Review podcast. That's why I said, okay, you know what? Let me have you on the podcast today, as a way of saying thank you very much for always being a listener and a member of the Chacha Nation. So with that, I have come to the end of another episode of the Chacha Album Review Series on the Chacha Music Review Podcast, which is now being brought to you by Absolute Art Media, your number one online media and digital marketing agency. It's like come away with another episode. My name is still remain Hafeestonova, aka your musical plug, creator of the Energy Force. Peace out.
Cha-cha time, two time for the Cha-cha gang. Give me the Cha-cha gang. Rockin' with the best, Cha-cha gang. Give me the Cha-cha gang. Alayela with Cha-cha gang. Give me the Cha-cha gang. What's in my body, Cha-cha gang. Give me the Cha-cha gang. Cha-cha gang.
What's in my body?